happening, guys? Welcome to the Konquer Fit Podcast. Once again, you got Chad and Jeff here with you guys. Coming at you from a live Saturday morning post-lift here.
Yeah.
Jeff, how you doing this morning?
Not too bad, man.
Not too bad.
Yeah, a little gummed up, but feeling a little bit better after that lift.
Yeah.
So.
Kind of changed up your
direction
of your lift today. That happens. So, I mean, we've touched base on quite a few things, and we've gone in and out of short topics. And I don't think we've really touched on. We've mentioned it, but I don't think we've touched on it. Kind of the not getting to a point of just kind of burning out.
Yeah.
Just being kind of where everything sucks, and how do you know you're burnt out?
Yeah, I mean, how many different signs are there, right? There could be all kinds of different precursors to letting you know that something's not working right for you, and you're just heading down that path. And I think for people like myself, you don't have the luxury of this because this is your job. Your job is
right.
being in here every day. But for people like myself, where this is our hobby and what we like to do, right? We use this so we don't get burnt out in other aspects.
Right.
Right. So whether it's work, whether it's life, whether it's your home life, whatever it may be, I come to the gym so I don't experience burnout in those other areas, right? We've talked about it. I've got a Fortune 100, Fortune 116 right now. Neither here nor there. But I live that corporate life, so I have experienced plenty of burnout, but I think what's helped me is coming to the gym, right? But then what happens when all of a sudden
you're burned out here?
You're burnt out here. Like, what do you do?
That's a problem. Like, how do you avoid that?
Mm-hmm.
And I think the first sign of that is obviously you just touch base on it a little bit. Is how do you know you're there?
Yeah.
Right. And those signs can be physical. They can be emotional. They can be psychological. Like there's many pathways to the end point of being I'm burned out.
Yep.
Right. And kind of you think about one of the key signs of fitness. Probably a good sign is level of soreness, level of fatigue. Right. If you're coming into your lift and you're realizing that normally weights that you normally do are feeling very, very heavy, there's just no gas in the tank, or all of a sudden like, man, my shoulder hasn't hurt for 3 months, and then all of a sudden there's a little ding in my shoulder that's not supposed to be there.
Yeah.
So I think there's many physical signs that I think a lot of us will ignore. I think, in the world full of Chads and Jeffs.
Don't be a Jeff.
Don't be a Jeff. But no, I think, those physical signs are probably going to be the first ones, and you're probably, if you're most people, you're probably going to ignore them. You're probably going to just be like, oh man, I'm just a little sore today, I'm a little tired.
I'm going to work through it.
I didn't sleep well, I'm just going to work through it.
I'll push through it, no big deal.
Then, I would say subsequently, that's where mental, psychological, emotional stuff kind of comes into play. If you start noticing maybe a little bit more brain fog, maybe a little bit more anxiety, those are probably good signs that, lack of sleep, those are probably good signs that you've overdone it and you're just burned out. Your body's trying to tap out on you, and you're just not recognizing the signals to do so. You've got to kind of recognize those and facilitate those. So, I mean, we both have vacations coming up.
Yep.
I mean, you're headed out this afternoon. I'm gonna head out of town for a few days next week. And ultimately, like, I had this conversation with one of my clients this week, and I was like, man, like I won't see you this Friday or this Monday or whatever. And he's like, well, why? I'm like, well, man, I need to refuel. I need to re-energize. Like,
I need to rest.
I'm getting to a point where I'm a little burnt out. And not to complain, business is going very well. I have a lot of sessions with clients, but at the end of the day, that's all on me. I don't do sessions. I don't make an income. I can't facilitate that for my family. And so I'm like, man, I've had 38 to 40 sessions for about 3-4 weeks now. Plus been pushing some volume myself. Mm-hmm. I'm getting very close to the point of burnout.
Yeah.
And I've got to do this for the next 25 years. And at a minimum. Don't look at me like that, first of all.
I'm just saying.
But I think that realizing that is the first thing, and I know you've had a lot going on personally in your life, and obviously you've had many things physically going on in your life. Yep. Maybe we'll touch base on the deadly spider attack in Poison Oak about a week ago.
Things you do for your family.
Things you do for your family, but hey, we've got to notice those signs, right?
Yeah, and I mean, so first and foremost, you have to realize that that's what you're experiencing, right? And you have to come to the realization that you're not perfect. Things are going to happen. They're going to happen to you. They're going to happen around you, and it's just how do you respond to those situations? How do you come back from those situations? And I can tell you, I've been burnt out at work several different times, to the point where I'm not beneficial to myself, my team, my company, whoever it is. And what's always helped me is taking those vacations, taking that time away from work. Now, I will also tell you that I am not selfish when it comes to my time. When I'm not at work, I'm still working. I have a work cell phone, or like the young kids in the gym accuse me of before, I got the plug cell phone, whatever that means, Shout out to Adam. But yeah, so like I'm never really like checked out, right? But I check out enough to where I feel like, okay, I still got it.
Yeah.
And I can tell you, when I was going through this stuff with my father passing away, like I was checked out completely. And even though I was experiencing one full end of the spectrum of grief and denial and struggle and all that stuff, it helped me come back to work, if that makes sense. Because I wasn't necessarily re-energized, but
you needed the routine.
Yeah, I needed the routine, but I actually felt more compassionate for my people. If that makes sense. And I don't know why. I didn't have some big epiphany or whatever, but I just felt like I was able to connect with them a little bit more and whatnot. And so that helped me with any type of burnout that maybe I was thinking I was experiencing at work. Now, what I can tell you from a physical standpoint is that ever since I had that surgery almost a year ago, it'll be a year in... No, it was August, brother.
Was it August?
It was August, yeah. So it'll be a year next week when I had emergency surgery.
You know what? I think it was either the week before or the week after I got back from Uncle Boji when you called me to pick you up from the hospital. So that makes sense.
Yeah, I can tell you, I've experienced burnout pretty significantly a couple times in the gym, but I still show up. And I also realize that not everybody can do that. Right?
Yeah.
Like, not everybody can be like Chad and Jeff and other folks that they get tired of the gym, but they still do it because they're a creature of habit. It's a routine, and they're not going to break the routine. It's Saturday. It's been 6 days in the gym this week, right?
Yeah.
You're going to be in here tomorrow. It's 7 days for you.
Yeah.
But I think what's helped is I have started to celebrate the small victories. You and I have talked about this off camera. I've gained a little bit of weight since this last surgery. And I can tell you,
and since life,
there's
many things that have contributed that we don't want to just downplay it to just surgery.
Yeah, no, it just wasn't surgery, because I have held on pretty good after surgery with whatever my weight was, but then with everything going on with my family and whatnot, like weight has come on. But what I have started doing, and I probably started earlier this year, is celebrating the small victories. So like the first time I was able to bench press 135 again.
Yeah.
Right.
It's been some time.
Right. Now I haven't went over 135, but like getting to that 135 is like, I went home and I was excited. I said, hey, we gotta go get crumble cookies or cookies and dreams, whatever it is, because I was excited.
Yeah.
And then I texted you yesterday like, hey man, I really need a spotter because like I want to squat 500 today. I've never squatted 500 people, not my abilities, but my squat was working so well yesterday. I'm like, dude, we just need to max this bitch out
need to go for it.
Shoot for the stars, right? So it's like celebrating those small victories.
Absolutely.
And I can tell you the biggest one that I had in recent months was this past week. So I do body weight 2 to 3 days a week, and I was able to do my push-ups not elevated, flat on the ground.
Because of pain.
And I couldn't do them because of pain. I just had this lingering shoulder pain in my left arm because I can't feel my right arm, so my left arm's trying to compensate for everything that I can't do with my right arm. And then I'm like, I don't know, I came in here last Sunday with my wife and she wanted to work out with me, and so we did body weight. I did my first set elevated, and then I'm like, I didn't have any pain. So I'm like, fuck it, let's roll the dice. And then on Tuesday, I did all my push-ups on the ground. I'm like,
Yeah.
you know, so like that's helped me avoid burnout, right? Because I'm trying to celebrate small victories. And I've been doing this long enough, I understand, like, hey, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. It's the worst marathon you've ever ran in your entire life. It sucks. There's hurdles, there's ditches, there's water.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, like, you still gotta get through it. What would be interesting for the folks to know, though, is like you have clients that have been working with you for years now, and you've seen them go through the ups and downs, right? How do you, from a trainer standpoint, how do you work with your clientele? And what signs do you look for? So, you know, first off, what do you look for to see if they are burning themselves out? And then what do you do to try to change that course?
So for me, man, obviously there's a lot of physical signs, right? Like,
not that I don't care about you, I do, right? But, you know,
I'm here to facilitate the people.
Yeah, you know, and I imagine the way you deal with burnouts, the way I deal with burnouts, like I just got to switch something up, you know, switch my routine.
Yeah, it's very similar. I mean, not to beat a dead horse, but sometimes it's just easier to beat a dead horse. You know, it's just easier for me to just keep the consistency. And I personally, just to touch on that real quick, because of how I personally train, I've structured my training where I don't really get to a physical point of burnout because I'm always kind of going and looking at my body and going, okay, what feels okay today? What did I do yesterday? Where was my sleep at? Where was my energy? Okay, let me maybe just back down and just do a little bit of this today.
Okay.
But with clients, I think it's mostly physical for me. I think I look at the physical signs. You know, you could tell a lot by a person by how they're moving, by their face, right? If I'm seeing big bags under your eyes and I'm noticing you're kind of just coming in kind of like dragging your feet a little bit, or, you know, just your whole mood is not your normal mood that when you come in.
That felt like an attack, but that's okay.
I'm going to immediately be like, hey, what's going on today?
Yeah.
Well, and I have several other clients that experience that same thing, you know, come in and as soon as they walk through the door, they're just kind of like, you could tell there's something going on. The first question, like, how are you feeling today? What's going on? I'm seeing some things, but you tell me what's going on.
Yeah.
Just hard day at work. I'm just stressed out, like, you know. And then it's a conversation. So I start with the physical, lead to the conversation, and then we go, you know what? We're gonna dial it back today, right? We're gonna fatigue the body less and stress the body less, and just get your body moving and see if that helps.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10. It does. They leave feeling better. They leave in a better mood. You know, they're smiling, we're laughing, we're joking.
Yep.
And I think I've done a good job at that over the past 4 or 5 years, and especially over the last 10, 11 years of where I started teaching classes and stuff. It's kind of like, let me give you all my energy, and so that your mood elevates. Even if it exhausts me, that's okay. Like I'm here to like make sure you feel better when you walk out my doors.
Yep.
So if I can be the one little ray of light in your day, in a day that wasn't very good, I take pride in that.
You know, it's interesting to hear you say that because I've been working out with you now for 3 years, and I guess I never really put 2 and 2 together because Monday through Friday, realistically Monday through Thursday, because I don't necessarily see you on Friday. Our schedules don't align on Friday, but Monday through Thursday, you always have like this exorbitant attitude, you know, and persona about yourself. I'm like, man, this motherfucker just needs to tone it down a little bit, right? Like,
yeah.
And then on Saturday and on Sundays when I'm in here, I'm like, okay, that makes sense because you've given it all Monday through Friday. And so now when you're in here on Saturday, you know, it's maybe one person joins us once a month or whatnot, but it's always like, hey man, how you doing? I'm great. It's Saturday, I'm lifting. And I can tell it's like, oh yeah, Chad had one of those weeks where he had to give everything to his clients, you know, because it wasn't just physical, it was mental, it was emotional, right? So
yeah,
it's interesting. I never put 2 and 2 together before.
Yeah, you know, there's times, you know, me and, you know, my wife have had this conversation, and there's times like I don't really realize I'm doing it at a certain point. Like sometimes, I mean, I've had sessions that are not physical by any means. There's no exercise that happens. We literally just sit there and talk. What's going on in your life? You know, because at a certain point we got to facilitate the outside for the inside. You know, I can't really take you through a workout if your mind is clouded with other things, and because life does happen, we do have to facilitate that.
Yep.
And there are some clients that, you know, sometimes I kind of beat my head against the wall for, and I get home and I'm just wiped, man. Like I've got nothing left. Like, you know, my wife wants to have big elaborate conversations, and I'm just like, I haven't eaten today yet. It's 1 o'clock. Can you give me 20 minutes?
Yeah.
Give me 20 minutes. Let me refuel, and then, you know, I can give you, you know, what little bit of energy I have. But, you know, that Saturday and Sunday I kind of take for me.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I don't see clients. That's why I still come in early.
Yeah.
I like to get my day started early. But those days are more for me. Like they're not dedicated. My Monday through Friday is dedicated to clients. I'm answering questions. I'm answering text messages and messages through the app, and taking new calls and calling people. You know, I told you about a young man that called me for a university project, and that I'm doing that stuff during the week. So Saturday and Sunday, like I just want the me time. Like I just want to push me a little harder and just kind of dial in and just hang out with my friend.
Yeah, dude.
Right?
Shoot
and
you know?
I think that's, you know, noticing the signs for other people has become kind of a skill in and of itself. So I've done this long enough, I kind of know what to look for. And sometimes I have to talk the client into, we need to back down today. You know, because they're, oh no, let's just push it. Yeah, I'm fine.
We go heavier, I'm going to feel better, that whole thing.
Or faster, or, you know, more exercises, or whatever it may be. And I'm just like, no, let's read the room. And let's see what your body is giving us some output. Mm-hmm. So let's lower the input, right? So we don't kind of statically overblow the system.
Okay, so you know you've got a client, and this is make believe, right? This is just
hypothetical.
Yep, you've got a client that they've been coming in for a year now. They're training with you, and you've got them on let's say they're on like week 3 of a program, and they're a 3x12, 4x10, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Chad, man, we just did this one like 4 months ago. I'm tired of this, and I'm gonna use a 3x10, right? Generic.
Yeah.
I'm tired of coming in on Monday. I'm benching, doing some triceps. Tuesday, I'm doing a leg lift. Wednesday, it's a back day. Mm-hmm. Thursday, bicep. Friday, it's another leg day, and then Saturday, you know, it's whatever I want.
Yeah.
Which I like the routine, but I hate the rep scheme. Like,
yeah,
I don't want to do this. You know, it's burning me out.
Yeah.
Right. I want to do 4x5.
Okay. Well, obviously, so generically speaking, if we're doing a 4x5, generally the weight's a lot heavier.
Yep.
Right.
I won't push myself.
At a 3x10, the weight's still pretty heavy, 65 to 75%. But we're in a rep scheme. We're doing, you know, repetitious movement, mm-hmm. putting a little bit more emphasis on hypertrophy and, you know, not so much strength, but hypertrophy.
How does that help me?
Well, it's the consistency of the action, right? If all of a sudden in the middle, we're only on week 3, and all of a sudden we're already changed to an entirely different scheme, strength will come. We'll do a phase of strength, but we've got to be paced at that, right? Because I can't take you from that, let's say 65% 3x10, and all of a sudden you come in your feelings or whatever you're in today, and you say, hey man, I want to do a 4x5, and we're going to go to 95%. That's probably not going to end well. It's probably going to end in some type of injury, mm-hmm. for the most part.
But man, I just feel like this 3x10 is just, it's not working for me, right? Like I don't want to do this for another 5-6 weeks. You know? So
yeah.
How do you approach that conversation and really try to make them understand, like, hey, I understand you think, or maybe you are experiencing burnout, and maybe it's not even with the gym, maybe it's external to the gym.
Yeah.
But if we don't stay this course, right, I can't get you to that 4x5 to where we can actually push that weight.
Yeah, it's explaining again the art of consistency, because we've talked about this all the time. You could be on the shittiest program ever, and consistency will still win. Mm-hmm. You'll still see some type of result. You'll still yield something.
Yeah.
Right? But for me, there's a mixture of because our job as personal trainers, our job is to push you harder than you push yourself, is to motivate you, is to do whatever. On the flip side of that, I think our main job is safety.
Yep.
Right? My main job is to ensure you don't hurt yourself, right? Because that takes you out for 9 months, 6 months, 3 months. So I would rather you not get injured and we stay in the game longer, right? The key is longevity. So it's just explaining to them, like, yeah, we can do that, but what's probably going to happen is you're probably going to get hurt, and we're not actually going to be able to get to that 95% because we haven't trained really long enough. Especially, I'm assuming in this scenario, this is a new client.
Yep.
We haven't really been working on, we've only been working for 3 weeks. The other side of that is it takes 6 to 8 weeks to get neuromuscular connection, right? Just to get your brain and your body knowing what the other one is doing.
Yeah.
So like all of a sudden at week 3, we're changing the stimulus, and not just one variable, we're changing all of the variables, which that's not what we do in training. We change one variable. If I change your reps, I'm not changing your volume. If I change your sets, I'm not changing the other 2 variables. I'm changing one thing. If we're doing a 3x10 at 65%, we might change to a 4x10 or a 3x12 or a 3x10 and increase to 75%. We are not going to change all 3 variables and just go, hey, by the way, today we're going to do 9 sets of 5 at 100% of your max. It's just not feasible.
Yeah, don't sound like a good time.
Well, and you got to remember the ultimate thing about weightlifting and structural movement and stuff like that is, and I think a lot of trainers don't really touch on this, is your tendons and ligaments only get about half as strong as your muscles do speed-wise. So your muscles get strong very quickly. Mm-hmm. Tendons and ligaments it takes double the amount of time for them to catch up to your muscles.
Okay.
So what's more likely to rip or tear? Your actual bicep or your bicep tendon? Bicep tendon, right? So we also have to acknowledge that fact. And that comes into nutrition, hydration, sleep cycle, stress cycle. All of these things are factors we have to look at every day of training.
So have you had that challenge before where you've had clients, hey man, I'm like, this just is not working for me? And how do you prevent them from feeling that burnout and wanting to change the course that soon?
It's education. And ultimately, again, that's another one of our jobs, is education. Mm-hmm. Not to sound like an asshole or nothing, but like, if you think you can do better, go do it.
True.
If you come back to me in 6 months and you have had no injuries, perfect. The likeliness that's going to happen is very small. Mm-hmm. Because when we change volume and we increase things and we're getting to that point of exhaustion and burnout, the rate of injury goes up, not down.
Yeah.
So, or the percentage of chance of injury goes up woefully. And so again, it's education. It's explaining to the client that, yeah, even though we might have this, like if you come out on a day and like, you're telling me you don't think the 3x10 is working and the thing we're not going to do is go to a volume that's way higher.
Yeah.
If anything, we're going to reduce. We might do that 3x10, but it might be 50% of your max because your body just doesn't have that extra energy to expend. Mm-hmm. So we're not going to go harder. We're going to dial back, right? Because sometimes movement is just what you need.
Yeah.
Motion is lotion. Sometimes you just need the movement.
Agreed.
It's not about the weight. It's not about the speed, how heavy, how hard you push. It's not about how hard you sweat. Sometimes it's just, okay, you had a hard day. We just need to move today. Mm-hmm. We don't need to do nothing crazy. And I've got several high-level clients that have major jobs where there's a lot of stress.
Yep.
So the last thing I need to do is add to that. Because regardless of whether or not exercise is a positive stress, because it is, if you have all this negative stress and then we add on the positive stress, your body only sees stress.
Yeah.
It doesn't differentiate.
It doesn't care.
It just says, oh, that's more stress. Let me release more cortisol. Oh, wait, I'm out of cortisol. Let me just dump some more hormones into your body and fluff you up.
Yep.
Right? So it's being mediated, man. We have to kind of gauge that. And that's where, we can dial all the way back around, and that's where the importance of taking time off and sleep come into play.
Yeah.
If you're, and I'm sure you did this, I did this, in my 20s, dude, I was burning the candle all the time. Go to bed between midnight and 2.
I'm calling it right now.
Wake up at 3 or 4, work till 6, go to the gym, work out, stay up till midnight to 2 again, wake up at 3 or 4, do the day all over again.
Yeah.
Well, I could do that for about 6 months, and then I would spend a Saturday and Sunday sleeping for 14 hours because my body would just crash.
Or you're doing something else where it's an energy drink every 2.5, 3 hours, right? And then next thing you know, it's 1,200 milligrams caffeine.
Yeah, so at some point you're burning the candle at both ends, right? So the importance of sleep is important.
Dude,
I tell you guys all the time, 6 to 8 hours of sleep every night.
And that's probably what I'm looking forward to most about us being on vacation this next week is, I know I'm going to sleep and I'm going to sleep well. Right?
Correct.
There's none of this, I gotta be up for work at 4 and then, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. I don't do anything.
I don't do anything.
I'm gonna sleep.
Sit and chill. I could be with my thoughts a little bit.
Yep, recover, gonna just be out in the open wilderness, man. I got nothing else to worry about.
Absolutely, dude.
So and that's
the time off aspect.
Yeah, and you and I have talked about this. I've been with my company for a long time, so
yeah.
I get a pretty significant amount of time off.
Yeah.
I take that time off.
Yeah.
I'm not giving it back, and I'm going to travel with my family because that's where I get that mental break, right?
Yeah.
That's how I avoid shutting down and not being able to come back and do this.
I would have a challenge for you though, because I know even on time off times,
yeah, dude,
you're still going to the gym or finding ways to be at the gym, whether or not you're taking bands, dumbbells, whatever you're doing. I challenge you for the week that you're gone to do nothing.
So Holly and I actually talked about this because I built a rack for the back of my camper that goes into my hitch to where I can do pull-ups and dips, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I built that last year before we went on this same trip. And I took some equipment from Chad's gym and, whether they were bands, a couple of dumbbells, things like that, went on vacation. I'm not doing that.
No.
I'm just
take the break, man.
I'm just gonna, because even when we were traveling and I was staying at my mom's house and whatnot, I joined a local gym in Central Illinois and I was going there every day. And it's you know what? We're gonna get plenty of walking in. That's gonna be my motion,
yep.
Right? I'll get some stretching and I'll do something like that. But I'm not gonna find a gym. I'm not gonna take any bands.
Dedicated exercise, and even for the 4 days I'm gone, I'm not going to touch a weight or anything. I'm just gonna let my body recover.
Yep.
I've been doing 6 to 7 days a week, and again, I'm pretty methodical at it, so that I don't get too sore and I don't get that. But I push my body pretty hard, and I pushed my brain pretty hard and my business pretty hard over the last 6 months, and so I just need a break.
Yep.
I just need to give my body time to heal, and I think those 4 days will be really good to just not go to a gym, maybe sleep in a little bit longer, and just kind of refuel the soul, if you will.
I agree.
Refuel the body, let things heal, and come back stronger the following week.
Come back on Saturday and make my wife work like a hired help. She's got to get some stuff done because she's got plans that she's been talking about here for months now. Now I threw a wrench in there, here and there and whatnot.
What? I don't know if you threw a wrench in there. I think something threw a wrench in there, but it wasn't you.
Dude, we had that discussion. I said, we're going to get plenty of walking in and when we're out in the Black Hills and whatnot, so I'm not going to go. And it's sad because the gym that I did find last year when I was there, it was a really cool gym.
Yeah.
Right? But
take the break, man.
Yep, we're going to take the break and just a little R&R, dude, and that way we can come back and more focus and try to get rid of this weight that I've been carrying with me for the last 3-4 months.
Yeah. Well, and to kind of wrap up and summarize here, guys, when you're doing this fitness thing and this health thing, you got to remember that ultimately it's to benefit you and take care of you. If you're just burning yourself out and just focused on how many calories you're burning a day and how much energy you're expending, how much you sweat, and I can do more, and I can do 2 days and 3 days and 4 days and all that stuff.
No.
You are going to burn out, you are going to get hurt, and ultimately, you're going to take yourself out of the one thing that is keeping you healthy, which is consistency of motion.
Yep.
So, the one thing I would implore you guys to do is take a deep look at yourself, look at your workouts, look at what you're doing, and is there room for you to take a little break, to take some time off, improve your sleep, improve your nutrition a little bit more, improve your relationships. Relationships have a big impact on what we do here in the gym. So I would really, I would tell you guys, really dive in deep. Look at what you're doing. Try and figure out if there's something you could be doing better, because I truly believe that anytime you walk into my doors or any other gym owner's doors, you should be working on skill set, technique, and how to be better.
Yeah.
If that meter moves 0.05% in the right direction, it still moved 0.05% in the right direction.
Yeah, dude, it's like you said, practice, or we're not shooting for perfection, we're shooting for improvement. Right?
Absolutely. We're not shooting for perfect. Perfect doesn't exist. Who delegates that? So, guys, shoot for just being better. Just beat you. This is a solo sport. The only person you got to compete against is you.
Yeah.
There's no other person to compete against here except for that dude or chick in the mirror. So, really, really dial into you, man. Try to avoid that burnout as much as you can. If you start to feel that, take a break. Take a week off from the gym. If you're married or if you have a girlfriend, boyfriend, spouse, whatever, start just walking throughout the week. Get some sunlight. Go enjoy a show that you like. Go see some movies. Take some time off so that you come back that much stronger.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's going to be getting cold out here sooner than we want it to, so enjoy it while you can. And it's like you said, small improvements go a long way.
Small improvements go a long way. So with that note, guys, we'll wrap up this episode. Thank you guys for joining us. We will see you again here in probably a couple weeks. We're trying to spread these out just a little bit more. But in the meantime, guys, if you ever have any questions, comments, concerns, or things you want us to talk about, drop them in the comments. We're more than happy to address them. On the flip side of that, just keep grinding, keep doing your thing, but also realize the importance of taking a break. So on that note, guys, we'll see you guys next time. And just remember, just don't die.
Just don't suck.
Have a great day, guys.